Assalamu alaikum student. My name is Sarah Zainab and I'll teach you English too. It will help you to comprehend advanced approaches and components of grammar. It will enhance your skill of reading and writing. Let's start our first lecture. So class, as you noticed that the topic of my lecture is phrases and clauses. But before that, I want to clear the idea of sentence because phrase and clause is the most important element of a sentence or the English grammar, but because it covers everything a sentence has. So let's have a quick look on the definition and structure of sentence. So class, a sentence is the combination of words, the combination or the group of words that gives a complete meaning, thought or idea. For example, I ate an apple. This sentence gives you the complete meaning or idea. Such a group of words can be called sentence. So here are some more examples that the teacher teaches class. The face is magical indeed. She spoke in a great joy. These are the few examples of a sentence because it conveys the complete idea, a complete thought. So class, in this slide, I'll teach you the parts of sentence because the parts of sentence will give you a complete idea about phrase and clause. So class, every complete sentence contains two parts, a subject and a predicate. The subject is what or whom the sentence is about, while the predicate tells something about the subject. So the subject and the predicate make up the sentence, and subject is that part of a sentence which names the person or a thing we are talking about. Okay? And predicate is that part of the sentence which tells something about the subject is known as predicate. Fine. Here is the example. The face is magical indeed. Here the face is subject and is magical indeed is predicate. And there is another example that Akbar was a great emperor. Here, Akbar is the subject, was a great emperor is predicate. So, class, now come to the main topic, that is phrases and clauses. Clauses are the center of sentences, and phrases strengthen that sentences to become that meaningful. Okay, now I'm repeating my sentence that clauses are the center of sentences and phrases strengthen the sentences to become meaningful. If the clause is the pillar of building, then phrase is like the brick. Let's have a look on the definition given on slide. Phrase is the combination of words that make some sense but not complete sense because it is without a subject. For example, at her beck and call at the airport, you noticed there is no subject in this sentence. So, here, as I said before, that it works like bricks in building. It helps in maintaining the structure of sentence to complete the idea of that sentence. Now clause. Clause is a group of words which make complete sense. It has subject and predicate. Unlike phrases, it has subject and predicate. Means It is meaningful sentence. Okay. So here is the example. She stayed at home though she wanted to accompany us. So in the given example, we will notice that there are two clauses in one subject because as I told you that a clause has subject and predicate. So in the given example, the sentence is large and has two clauses. She stayed at home. She wanted to accompany us. And these two clauses are joined with a conjunction though. And students, you will also notice about the phrase that a phrase usually is always present within a clause, but a phrase cannot have a clause in it. It's so interesting. And to give you a complete understanding about phrases, and this lecture comprises only the definition of phrase and its types. So class, to give you a complete understanding of phrases or a word phrase or the definition of phrase, I'm going to discuss the definition again in different aspect. So class, a phrase is a group of words within sentence that acts to complete the sentence for making it meaningful. I'm repeating again that phrase is a group of words within sentence within a sentence that acts to complete the sentence for making it meaningful. It cannot stand alone to give complete meaning. For example, I saw a joker in the street. So, in the street is a phrase. And how can you get the complete idea of a sentence with the word, with the group of word or with the phrase in the street? I saw a joker in the street. In this sentence, in the street is phrase. So you can't get the complete idea of that sentence with only these words in the street. So phrase is a small group of words that form a meaningful unit within a clause, within a sentence. However, it lacks both subject and object, but it completes the meaning, it completes the idea or thought of a subject. So class, the function of phrase depends upon its construction and place in the sentence. Depending upon its functions in a sentence, phrases are divided into various types, but we will discuss only six significant types. So the first type is noun phrase. A noun phrase is usually assembled centering a single noun and verb as a subject, an object, or a complement in the sentence. So a phrase that acts like a noun in the sentence is called a noun phrase. It contains a noun and other associated words which modify the noun. For example, so class, these are the examples where the entire phrase will act as a noun for the particular sentence. For example, the probability of happening that match is not much. I like to swing the bat hard when I am at the crease, and we are sorry for her departure. So you see, In these sentences, the phrases contains a noun, name, place or thing, and at least one modifier associated to the noun. The modifier can prefix or suffix the noun, and the entire phrase will act as a noun for the particular sentence. So students, the second type of phrase is verb phrase. As we know that every sentence contains a verb, but sometimes the action being described requires some sort of continuity of action. So a verb phrase of the group of main verbs and helping verbs. So, so the verb phrase can refer to the whole predicate of sentence. For example, I was watching my favorite show yesterday. Or she is writing a letter. They have been playing games since morning. He has taken his lunch. So students, as we know that verbs are words that demonstrate an action like sing, dance, smell, talk, and eat. So they serve as a link between the subject of the verb and information about that subject. So the information is usually descriptive. So in order to show activities that can be done, active verbs are used by linking verbs described condition. As I have given example that she is writing a letter. Here the work is being done. So is writing is the phrasal verb. And in the next sentence they have been playing. So have been playing is also the phrasal verb. He has taken his lunch. So has and taken both are the words that are related with the phrasal verbs. Here is the third type of phrase, that is adjective phrase. An adjective phrase is comprised of an adjective and works as a single adjective in the sentence. So here you can see the definition again in more simple manner, that a phrase that acts like an adjective in the sentence is called adjective phrase. Like an adjective, it modifies a noun or pronoun. Here are some examples that how it modify a noun. Example is, she gave me a cup full of tea. Here it modifies noun, that is cup. Next example is, she is a woman of gorgeous style. Here it modify noun women. And the next example is a sentence from my university, sorry, a student from my university won the competition. Here it modify noun, that is student. So an adjective phrase modifies, add to, meaning of. Modifies mean add to, meaning of. So adjective phrase modifies a noun or pronoun. For example, the boy is in the shop is my friend. So it modifies noun, the boy. Again, the boy in the shop is my friend. So the boy is the noun and in the shop is the adjective phrase. Students, here the fourth type of phrase is adverb phrase or adverbial phrase. It is defined as a phrase that acts like an adverb in the sentence is called adverb phrase. It modifies a verb or other adverb in the sentence. So class, an adverbial phrase modifies the verb or the adjective and works as an adverb in the sentence. The first example is that how it modifies a verb. For example, I ran as fast as I could. Here it modifies verb ran. Second example is he works very slowly. Here it modifies verb, that is work. Next example is she always speaks in a respectful way. Here it modifies verb, that is speak. So an adverbial phrase or adverb phrase is that acts like an adverb in the sentence. Like an adverb, it modifies or add to meaning of a verb or other adverb in the sentence. It contains an adverb and other words, for example, noun, preposition, or other modifiers, which as a whole act as an adverb phrase. The next type is prepositional phrase. It is defined as a phrase comprising a preposition and object of preposition, noun or pronoun, is called prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase always begins with a preposition and connects noun, adjective, or an adverb. For example, near a wall, on the table, in the room, at the door, and there are so many examples where a phrase comprising a preposition and object of preposition. And there are so many examples of prepositional phrase. For example, in the end, we all have to die. Here, in the end is prepositional phrase. Next example is, in spite of working hard, he was insulted by his boss. So, in spite of working hard, in spite of is the prepositional phrase. And in other example is, she was lost in the dark of night. So, in the dark of night is prepositional phrase. Next example is, I waited for a while. Here, for a while is prepositional phrase. And last type which I'm going to discuss is a positive phrase. And a positive means related to opposite. So here it defines as a noun or pronoun placed after another noun or pronoun to identify, rename, or explain the preceding words to add information or detail. So, in other words, we can say that an appositive is a noun or a noun phrase that sits next to another noun to rename it or to describe it in another way. So, examples are The poet Robert Frost is much admired. Here, the poet and Robert Frost. These are the noun opposite to an other noun. And in the next example, volunteers, boys and girls are wanted for new project. Here, volunteers, boys and girls. These two words, these two terms are opposite to each other. And in the next example, Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, is often called USA's greatest inventor. Here, Thomas Edison and the inventor of light bulb. These are two nouns. So, this is called the appositive phrase. So, students, this is all for today, and I hope that you have learned a lot about phrase and its types. And I hope you will continue learning about phrase and its types. So, class, I will join you uh, in the next lecture with the topic of clauses or its types. So keep practicing about the phrase and all its types, and inshallah we will continue with the clause and its types soon. Allah Hafiz.